was that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. Wow. They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. What's up, weirdos? How's everybody doing out there in Weirdo Land? We are live from my living room, and we've got the full team here. The new year is among us. Beckett looking just, like a tasty snack with that model hair. We got Vicky looking gorgeous. Sweet Denny's looking just so innocent, but yet knowledgeable. Our producer, Birdney, crushing it behind the scenes. And you are weirdos. How the hell is everyone doing?
Cold, but other than that, good. Yes,
if you are listening to this, time-stamping this in Florida, it's very cold right now. It's, I think, the 30s or 40s, something like that. You guys hear a hiss?
Yes.
Son of a bitch, I hear a hiss.
Digitalness.
I hear a hiss. We're not going to stop the podcast. Unfortunately, if there's a hiss, we're going to have to deal with it together. I'm not starting this shit again.
Maybe it's the spirit.
Maybe it is a spirit. I do want to start off the show with this email. Now, forgive me. My computer has shit the bed, so I'm reading from my phone. It says, Dear Weird and Whatever, my girlfriend of 2 years just admitted that she used a voodoo doll on me when we first started dating. It was 2 months into our relationship. She got jealous because my ex-girlfriend kept showing up at my events. I'm a DJ. She was convinced I was cheating, so she started using voodoo dolls against me. She realized I wasn't cheating, so she stopped. She told me all of this just the other night. I had no idea she was even into voodoo shit. My question to y'all is this. Do you believe in voodoo? Voodoo dolls? Voodoo curses? And would this bother you to the point of breaking up? Love the podcast. Lewis, yes, fake name. Vicky, we got some weird shit going on here.
Yeah, I've never been a huge believer in curses and voodoo and things like that. It's just not me. I know that there's a lot of evidence. In fact, I think I saw an article where like a barber got in trouble because he was like taking customers' hair and making voodoo dolls out of it. I just saw that scrolling through. So, I think a lot of it has to do with believing. I'd like to know what happened to him during the time period that she was supposedly using the voodoo doll.
Yes, if you're listening to that, please give us a follow-up email. What happened in your life? And do you believe in voodoo? Do you think if somebody had legit powers in that world and they focus all their attention on that and that they were obsessed with being into voodoo, do they actually make it work?
I think there are definitely negative entities out there that can tag on to something. Someone's actively doing something like that. I think a lot of it, the effectiveness of it would depend on the person who's receiving that. So if you're a super positive person with a lot of protection around you, I don't think it's going to get to you.
Are you kind of, in a sense, voodoo blaming? Kind of feel like you're voodoo blaming, Vicky. So I have a personal story about this.
Okay.
We're going to rewind to the year 1994, Beckett. I'm in my Sunbird. I'm at a bank. I know this girl named Jill. She puts a curse on me. And holy shit, it turned to hell, Vicky. Now, did I bring that on myself, or did this bank witch, did she give me a curse?
Did you know what she did? Did she verbally say it?
Yes, she told me, she goes, I put a curse on you, and you are going to feel it. And she did that whole thing with her nose, kind of like in Bewitched, kind of a hack.
Did you stay with her?
She wasn't a girlfriend.
Oh.
She was a friend of a friend.
That's weird.
And I was 16 or 17. I can't remember why she was... She was kind of... She had an evil streak, and I think I had said something to a friend. I go... She's got an evil streak. We got to watch out for her. And that got back to her. She's like, okay, motherfucker. Boom, curse.
Yeah, I'd say you, just a little bit of self-fulfilling prophecy. I think you believed her a little too much.
All right, Ricky.
that gives the curse power.
So did she lift the curse? Are we still waiting for it to be lifted? Or
It's still going on today.
And that kind of explains a lot, Vicky.
yeah, that's that last little piece of puzzle I needed.
Mr. Laugh, what are your thoughts on voodoo? Do you believe in that shit?
I don't believe in it. I think voodoo is one of the more crazy ones, based on what I understand about or know about voodoo. For me, like, I'm more concerned about the question about, is it a breaking up offense?
On an emotional level here.
I think it is. I think it's a breakupable offense for sure.
Okay, so...
Because it's like the intent, and I think I talked to you guys on the podcast about it. I've been in dating situations where a girl does something to make me mad or to make me jealous. And often, in case it's not the actual thing that they did that made me jealous, but I got mad because of the intent. They were trying to make me mad or make me jealous. So that actually really makes me mad.
You're more upset about the games they play.
The intent of it.
I'm with you on that.
So that's what I'm thinking about this situation with the voodoo doll. Whether you believe in it or not, it's the intent she had. Like, what is she trying to do? Like, give him pain in his knee? Or
But guys, remember, it was in the beginning of the relationship. It's been 2 years. Now here's my next question. Do we forgive things in the beginning of a relationship? She comes back and says, I didn't think you were the one. I thought you were cheating. It was early in a relationship. Please forgive me. I am kind of on the level of, what the shit? You're buying a fucking voodoo doll?
Yeah,
No,
that's
that
a
dumper.
big red flag.
Even after 2 years?
Even after 2 years, dumper.
Okay, how about this? Let's say, same situation, we replace voodoo, and she admits that I banged some guy a month into our relationship. It was new. It was 2 years ago. I didn't realize I loved you. I mean, come on. Who would have thought this would have worked out?
How'd I find out? She was honest about it?
She got some wines in her. You know, you get your wines in you.
Then I stay with her.
You stay with her.
Yeah. Unless someone else had to tell me and I found out she was lying about it.
She's
then,
harboring the secret.
yeah, then I'm done. Then I'm out.
Interesting. You're a man.
You're all about intent.
You're all about the, you may sin, but if you tell me of your sin,
Trust.
I can forgive you.
Well, then I almost, in a weird, sick way, I trust you more. Because that has actually happened to me in real life. And the fact that she was honest about it and I would have never found out, to me, in a weird way, I trusted her more.
Denny's, you're awfully quiet.
Oh, I'm just soaking all this in.
What are your thoughts? Voodoo, someone's got the intent to fuck your life up.
Yeah, so if somebody is using a curse, whether it's 2 years ago or the beginning of a relationship, I think you should dump them. There's plenty of people out
beyond
there.
the pale.
There's plenty of people out
But
there.
if you get married to that person, you're forced to stay with them and you have to work it out? Is that what happens?
I don't think so. I think in this modern
divorce.
era,
I thought, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we got to work at this great happiness.
Yeah.
Look what she had the potential to do at the very beginning. So what? Okay, things have been fine for 2 years. What if something happens? Next thing you know, you lose your head.
That's a
I
really
mean, no.
interesting
if
point.
curses
Dump her.
work, yeah. I mean, her intent was to.
Vicky actually has a really interesting point about a relationship. If it's early on, it's interesting to know what someone has the capacity to do.
That's I agree with you. You're showing me that if it all goes down,
Yeah.
you are going to screw me over
Oh, totally.
to fulfill your whatever emotional need whatever it takes.
They're the kind of person that's going to bring a gun to a knife fight. You know, it's going to be way intense.
I want to do an impersonation. I want to see if anybody can get it. All right? All right. Yeah, no, I love it. It's awesome. No, it's awesome. Somebody who is married
And in
describing
therapy.
how awesome it is.
Right.
They all say it's great. I love being married.
And they like slowly slide you a note to
Every
like
time
save them.
we have some kind of
Get me outta
marriage
here.
topic on KVJ, Kevin in Virginia go on all these rants about marriage, and then I go, "You guys, I don't know, man. You're making marriage
You're making it sound real appealing.
yeah," and they go, "No, it's great."
Yeah.
But I'm not just picking on Kevin in Virginia. That's almost like all of my married friends,
Right, totally. And as far as I know from the
except for Denny's and Jen.
True.
They're like,
They're chill.
I love being married.
That's
it's
true.
so great. I love Denny's.
Yeah,
That's true.
It is. It's like,
But just from
like that.
for me listening to the morning show, I mean, they're also, for what it's worth, like probably the more happier married couples that I know. You know what I mean? So
Oh, for sure. No,
if
I'm making a joke. Don't email me or Kevin.
No.
Birds talking shit.
but
I'm having some fun here.
But point being is that if they are, my belief is they are happily married, and they're like that. They're like, oh man, it's tough. You know what I mean? You can only imagine how many marriages that are actually not good.
Vicky, you were married? You were never married. Okay. What's your idea? Do you believe in marriage?
Oh yeah.
I believe in marriage for the right people. I think
Right.
I think marriage is not for everybody. I think too modern times is weeded out some people as well. But I think if you legit meet a soulmate who you are ride or die, best friends, sexually attracted to, you're not gonna fuck them up no matter what, even if they annoy you, because everybody eventually is going to annoy everybody.
100%.
Once you accept that, you're going to be so much easier.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Just accept that even your bestest. Like, I know I annoy Denny's. I accept that I annoy him. I got to deal with that.
Yeah.
We all have to accept that sometimes as a creature, we are unbearable.
Totally. So
All of us.
I have initial love for my dog, but sometimes she pisses on the floor, and it really pisses me off. And I'm saying but I still
You're
love
gonna
her.
say that shit in front of Chewy, who pisses on the floor sometimes.
Oh, he does too.
So you're piss shaming?
I'm just saying, even though someone can be annoying, I still love my dog in that moment that I'm cleaning up pee on the floor of my house.
Yeah, what's the factors of making it annoying? Did you get sleep? Are you hungover? Are you hungry? Are you sure you're not the asshole?
Usually it's all of those things.
Yes. Sometimes someone annoys you, but sometimes maybe you're the annoying one.
Exactly, with 100%.
Now, you asked, do I believe in marriage? Absolutely, I believe in marriage, but I don't think marriage is necessary in the right relationship. You don't have to do that.
For sure. You're right.
Every situation's different. And I think that's one thing we've learned as we've, gone through time.
I mean, there really is not just an A, B, or C.
Not anymore.
Even in politics or religion, you have a Republican or a Democrat. Talk to 20 Democrats. Talk to 20 Republicans. All of them are all going to say something slightly different.
Joy.
Religion, baptism, being Catholic, all of that stuff. It's amazing because people email all the time talking about their different religions and say, I believe in that, but it's weird that you brought that up because we don't believe that, but it's the same religion.
Totally.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
All different interpretations.
Yes, all different interpretations. Very good comment, Denny's. I think with that said, I think it might be time for some
Denny's Random Facts.
Nice. Well, talking about things that were old that are now new, just how trends change through time. Up until 1974, women couldn't get a credit card unless they were married to a man and a man co-signed for that credit card.
God, that's so fucked up.
1974,
It's
they
like
passed.
Saudi Arabia.
I mean, that is so not long ago.
That means if you weren't married as a woman, you could not apply for credit.
I mean, talk about how that really. And I'm not at all trying to be pandering to the women of the audience, but that is so fucked up.
It's so messed
That
up.
really is fucked
That wasn't
up.
even that long ago.
There's nobody out there that can defend that.
No.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's
they
terrible.
passed the Equal Credit Opportunity Act in 1974.
Holy shit.
Crazy. Well, it's crazy to think. I was just talking about this the other day. Women were just allowed to vote 100 years ago, I think, was women's suffrage. So, I mean, that's one person ago. You know what I mean? That women
You're right.
One
lifetime.
Women couldn't vote. That's nuts to me.
That really is nuts to me.
That's crazy.
Again, if you are playing along at home, Vicky is our educator. She grades Denny's on all of his factoids. Now, in recent weeks, Vicky has become a little bit hardened with her stance, and we respect that. Vicky, what do you give a grade on?
You guys encourage it.
Sorry, I'm not overly thrilled or enthralled. I got to give it a C.
Why is that?
It didn't make me go, wow.
It made me go, oh wow, I didn't know that shit.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I pulled it for the bird because I know you know.
I get excited about nothing.
I also wonder if it partially was tied to the fact that women, a lot of them were stay-at-home moms, so they didn't have an outside job in order to establish their own credit. So it would have been based on their husband, therefore he would have to be the one on there as well. And that might have been why there wasn't such a push until then to have women to be able to get their own
When they
credit.
started
Okay,
gaining
so-
independence.
Okay, so you're not necessarily getting behind the whole. You're not getting woke on that particular situation.
No,
because-
I mean, I'm not terribly offended by the fact.
Yeah,
I
all
think
right.
that there were circumstances that it probably was the reason why it was in place.
Okay.
For sure.
I like that. That's very good. I'm over here so excited about. You know what? Fuck that. Denny's a B.
Yeah. That fact sucks.
By the way, 18 and older. This is an adult podcast. You have to. If you want to let your kids listen, that's up to you.
So I found this insane that essentially all penicillin produced after 1943 originated with a mold sample found on a cantaloupe in Illinois. The moldy part was cut off, cultured, and the lab technicians ate the rest of the fruit.
That's interesting.
Why? I'm not at all trying to hijack your segment, but why is cantaloupe so hit or miss? It's either shitty water bullshit
Or-
cube,
Yeah.
or it's a rainbow of just
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah, no,
There's nothing in the middle of a cantaloupe.
it has like a 1 day ripe shelf life. If you miss it, it's spoiled.
If you leave cantaloupe out for 45 seconds, it's fucked.
It's like an
not gonna-
avocado. Like
yeah,
that.
it's another one. But yeah,
Sure.
it's all so in the World War they needed penicillin, and they originated all from that one mold sample and split it off into many different facilities,
That's amazing.
rather.
I mean, you're amazed. I'm amazed. Vicky?
Yeah, she's the one I got to impress.
I will give that a B for Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Nice,
That one was
nice.
pretty good.
Penicillin, man, we love that.
We do.
That one cured a lot of stuff.
I gotta tell you, education's made Vicky cold.
Totally,
Yes.
totally.
Is that World War One or World War Two?
World War II?
I mean, I watched a documentary on World War One and am just blown away by how that whole thing started.
Oh.
I'm not gonna go into any details because I'll get them wrong. I'm like 60% right of what I know, what I've gathered. But man, my gosh, holy shit, what a story!
Crazy.
Look up any documentary about how World War One started. I think it's a very fascinating.
It's
listen
extremely
to.
fascinating. It's
Very.
crazy to think that we've had in the history of the world 2 labeled World War IIs, and they were both caused by a little tiny country.
It was started by not a small incident because it wasn't small for them, but I mean on a global platform. You're like, this is how World War One
Right.
started.
Yeah,
Holy
it's crazy.
shit. All right,
Crazy.
Dennis, again, go.
So just again, I guess I found these old timey facts from our lifetimes, but they say that modern day dads are spending 3 times more time with their kids than fathers spent back with them. In fact, a poll taken in 1982 said 43% of fathers admitted they've never even changed their kid's diaper. Today, that number is about 3%.
Vicky,
And I think it's because of the gender roles changing over time.
are you for that?
Oh yeah, they should have.
They
you
should
know,
change the shitty
Yeah,
diaper.
change the damn diapers. Yeah,
I think it's
Absolutely.
just the positions of how everybody lives now changing. But I just thought that was crazy. That's not even that long ago. I mean, 1982.
Oh, shit, dog. I was watching E.T. in 1982.
I was born in '82.
Damn, Becky, you getting old.
Knocking on heaven's door.
I'm totally kidding. The people who call you out for your age are always old people.
That's true.
Yeah, I would be like, damn, I got my first car in 1982.
What was your first car, Vicky?
It was a 1982 Cutlass Supreme.
Do you remember the first guy you made out hardcore with in the car?
In the car? No, I didn't have to use the car. Plus, I kept my car really, really clean, so I didn't want too many people in
We're
there.
not saying saliva's falling everywhere. What kind of making out are you doing?
I pulled this one for The Bird here, an article published by NPR Radio in 2016. In 2006, Derek Amato suffered a major concussion from diving into a shallow swimming pool. When he woke up in the hospital, he was different. He discovered he was incredibly good at playing piano. He's one of the few dozen people that get a thing called sudden savant or accidental genius. People who survive severe head injuries come out on the other side. In fact, he can't even read music or recite music, but can play it professionally.
Okay, that just proves to me that this brain is a computer. We are not at all using it to its full capacity. Who knows in 10,000 years if we are still around? That might be a big get. 5,000 years. What we could do with our brain. We haven't learned it. Clearly, there's something we're not doing.
Totally.
You could look at an instrument and play it within seconds, and you've never played an instrument before. There's something going on there. You cannot explain that.
100%.
What is
Scientists,
it? Yeah.
Tell me how that can happen. Me and Denny's are musicians. We know what it takes to learn shit.
Tons of words.
So when you look at an instrument and you can fucking play it, I'm so pissed off.
Yeah.
You can rest assured that only a few dozen people have ever experienced
But
this.
that's insane.
That's how little it
That's like
happens.
superpower shit.
That's a superpower.
It's crazy because they spend a lot of money on research and whatever, and we spend so much money on reactive things. So you have a disease, you got to fix, whatever. There's decent research going into the mind and the brain, but because we're not trying to fix a problem, I don't think that there's definitely not as much resources that could be going to it to understand the brain and how to program it, whatever. And I agree with you. I think that we're going to unlock a lot of things that we're able to do.
I got an email of someone said, you guys cover some of the same shit all the time. There's a reason why we do that. And to brag about our podcast for a second, we're constantly getting new listeners that are checking out our podcast. So we reset some of the stuff we've done before, just so you guys know what we're talking about. And the one thing I do want to talk about, we've talked about Mermaid stuff before. This is a fascinating email. I love this email only because the person who sent it in is 75 years old. They said, me and my dad saw what looked to be a mermaid. They are real. I swear to you. I'm almost 75 years old and probably one of your oldest listeners. My dad and I used to sail all the time. We saw this half woman, half fish sailing one day. We were in the Gulf of Mexico, and it was crazy windy out. I kind of like how a 75-year-old saying crazy windy out. Got the lingo down. She had the blondest of hair and some of the biggest old titties you've ever seen.
Definitely a sailor.
That salty dog.
100%.
That was 65 years ago. I know bitch boy Beckett doesn't believe in mermaids, but they are real.
Interesting.
Just because they haven't caught one yet doesn't mean they aren't real. Love y'all's podcast, Gary from Boston. Now, Denny's, what is that about?
I don't know, man. You know, time out in the sea can do a lot. You wonder. Like mermaids.
So you think that
I
guy...
just feel like they wouldn't be able to sustain anymore. I mean, we hardly have sailors going across, getting captivated by them. I mean, what do they live off of?
What's more
They live off of eating people.
What's more unbelievable to accept? Flat Earth or mermaids?
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
I would agree with that.
Well, so the only thing I don't get about that agenda is what benefit does that? There's no benefit to that.
I don't think they
why would
haven't-
the government lie about that? Why would anyone lie about that? There's no benefit they gain from having they're like, ooh, we got you, it's round, boom, in your face.
I mean,
like, what do they get? There's no money you can make from that.
Flat
It makes no sense.
Flat Earthers annoy the shit out of me. I cannot even deal with it. I mean, I've told you guys before, there's that one special I watch. It's 3 Flat Earthers versus 3 scientists. And they've done their whole life for science. And these Flat Earthers just have a theory. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, but yeah, you're wrong. Like, motherfucker, I got 35 years in a university. Like, I have 17 degrees. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that one's just tough to. But mermaids are also because then you could argue that there was harpies too. You know, bird women. They lure you with their feathers.
Tell the audience what a harpy is, Denny's.
They're the half bird, half
Just don't
monkey.
drop a harpy in the back of
Well, the difference is we've all seen the Earth. You know what I mean?
Have we though? So that's
Have you really seen it,
Well,
Beckett?
that's their argument.
No one's seen a mermaid.
No, the flat earthers will say, Beckett, you've never been in space. All you've seen are images on a screen. Those are so easily, you're able to doctor that. That's their theory.
But you could take a drone or what. You can go up in like a high level plane and see a curvature in the Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we have planes.
Right.
I mean,
When-
it
if
makes
you-
sense that it's round.
If you look over the horizon, you can see a ship come over.
Absolutely.
You know?
In Montana, when I went there, and we were going down this long deserted road, there was no civilization around, and I looked up, you could see the curvature of the Earth because of where it's located.
When you see something like that, do you instantly go into pure gratitude, spiritual kind of, I'm small, there's something bigger in the world? I get that way anytime I go to the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, there's something bigger than me.
Yeah.
All my bullshit that I carry, there's something bigger in this universe.
Right. There's a reason why the natural response, like almost involuntary, when you go look over the Grand Canyon or see a beautiful sunset or see something really cool, like it's that feeling of awe.
It's
yeah.
drug-like.
It's a reason why people want to pay a lot of money to live close to the ocean or on the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reason people want to go there and they go, oh, man, like look at that mountain range or look at that sunset. Like there's a reason why that's your natural, intrinsic, ingrained in your DNA reaction.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
Even going to Jonathan Dickinson and just walking around the woods, I will get that kind of euphoric feeling.
And I've listened to people explain how there's science behind being in touch with nature and how that kind of retunes you and regrounds you. Because we live in like kind of like our own human Truman Show, if you will, where we're getting our air conditioning car from our air conditioning house. We listen to the music on the way. We're never in silence necessarily anymore. And when you get out of that, you're like, oh, well, this is really Earth. Like it makes you feel more grounded, if that makes sense.
It might have been the secret, and I might be wrong on that, but they say most humans get up, an alarm goes off, they put either a TV on, some people wake and bake, drink coffee, there's the TV, they're rushing around. There's so many distractions to the point where you do lose your sense of being spiritual. And I don't mean that on a religious angle. I mean that just
Connected to the earth.
connected to your fellow person.
Exactly.
All of that shit. I mean, that's true, I feel.
It sounds hippity-dippity until you experience it.
It's not, though. I feel like our ancestor, it's built into our DNA.
Yeah, totally. I'll give you an analogy. I think it's interesting on how you get desensitized by stimulation. You ever go to bed and you're like watching a TV show or a movie and you got the volume turned up a certain thing and whatever, and you turn the TV off to go to sleep. You wake up the next day and it's early in the morning, 6 a.m., it's dark outside, and you turn your TV back on. It sounds like the loudest thing ever.
Oh, jeez.
Me and Denny's always talk about how we'll go to bed to The Office, and we always wake up to the
theme music.
Well, the intro will be all calm, and then
It's like
what the fuck?
500 times louder than the episode.
You think someone's breaking in with a big band?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
In Japan, they do a therapy, I think I've mentioned it before, called forest bathing, where they, during the rehabilitation, they take people through walks in the forest as well as part of their treatment.
I mean,
because I think you do get disconnected. From
that sounds so nice.
Totally. You could do that just here, Jonathan Dickinson.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Give us some more facts, because I think I only gave us like 3.
So what do you guys call it? Do you guys call it soda or pop?
Soda.
See, I call it pop. That's so weird.
do?
Well, so yeah, I was born in Chicago. So
My
maybe that's why.
grandparents in Ohio, West Virginia, they
That
call it
makes
pop.
sense. Yeah. Well, so the reason is because the soda fountains were developed in the eastern United States and were very popular there, but they didn't have the technology to move it west yet, so they shipped them out in bottles with corks. So when they opened the bottles, it would make a pop noise. That's why they call it pop, and they call it soda because the machines were called soda machines for soft drinks.
Interesting.
Weird, right?
Baby, you did that one for me, didn't you?
Yeah. I know you want that soda up in there.
I'm going to give it an A, but Vicky is real harsh.
I can't break your heart. I'm going to give him an A.
No,
No
it's
sympathy.
fine. It's fine.
No, that one actually, that was interesting.
I didn't know that it was because of the cork sound.
Give us your best 3, and your best 3.
Best 3 here. Well, so I pull a certain amount each week, and I kind of go plink through them. But here, I
Give
got a
us
couple
your
good
best
ones.
2.
All right, thank you. Let's see here. This one's actually, I didn't even know this. Maybe you did, Bird. But in the movie The Godfather, and they never actually used the word mafia.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I love movie trivia like that, where you never, like, that's such weird shit to
Well,
know.
it's so weird, but it was never once mentioned. All right, so in the movie The Godfather, the reason the word mafia was never mentioned a single time is because the mafia boss, Joe Colombo, along with Frank Sinatra, threatened the film production and said they would only back the film if they could change the script to their liking. In fact, one of the cast members, Lenny Montana, you might remember him from the film. He was Marlon Brando's bodyguard.
Yes.
He's a big old giant guy. He
Yeah.
used to be a boxer. Well, he was part of the family when they visited the set, and the director couldn't believe it that this guy was so big that he cast him. That guy's never actually acted in a movie ever once, and he gets strangled in the movie, obviously. Spoiler alert. Sorry
yeah,
about that.
Danny, shit.
Oh, I'm sure I ruined The Godfather.
Well,
for
I mean,
everybody.
come on. It came out in 72 or 73.
But yeah, that was funded by Frank Sinatra and the Mafia.
It's
Vicky, you ever see? I'm sorry, Becca, go.
It's curious to me that Sinatra was sensitive about the word mafia in The
because
Godfather.
he was in it.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
They said
Blue
that he,
Eyes was in it.
that's what he said. He said that supposedly they were behind the mafia was JFK's assassination. You know, I'm not a
Well, and
conspiracy
his
theory
election.
Do you guys like?
guy. And his selection, exactly.
His election,
That's
yeah.
why they were involved in the
'Cause
death,
supposedly
because they were involved in the election.
JF election part, yeah.
JFK got helped into office by the mafia, supposedly. Supposedly, once he got into office because of his brother Robert Kennedy or whatever,
Yeah.
Bobby Kennedy, he turned his back on the mafia.
Okay, so again, not to hijack Denny's random facts, but did JFK and Robert Kennedy both bang Marilyn Monroe at the same time? I have heard so many stories about that.
The story is, I think, pretty confident that they both had sex with her, whether it was at the same time. I don't know. That was pretty aggressive for the 60s. Maybe it wasn't for the 60s.
That's aggressive, I think.
That's true. I don't know.
any
You're
decade.
right. Early 60s was hippie?
No, I'm just saying, could you have a threesome with your brother?
No, it's weird.
No way.
I couldn't have a threesome with 2 sisters. That's weird to me.
Yeah,
Well,
totally.
they're not my sisters. I'm sorry, Vicky.
I don't know.
I'm drinking again. So
that
I
dynamic.
apologize. Speaking of Denny's, take it. I'm gonna get another beer.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
please.
You want a little
So,
something, something?
so that
Yeah,
the
give us another,
dynamic of having 2 sisters involved
want it.
sexually in the same thing to me is weird. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
I know like on paper at first it sounds hot. Like Like, in Playboy, the two twins, blah, blah, blah. But I think that would freak me. Don't you think that's
Oh, yeah.
that should be a freak out situation?
Totally, yeah.
I would say that they definitely, both of them had an affair with her, but I cannot believe
the
that it was
same
at the
time,
same
yeah,
time.
no.
No.
That
And she
would-
was even rumored to have been pregnant with Bobby Kennedy's child at one
wow.
point.
Man, she like
Yeah.
them Kennedys, yeah.
This is like a mysterious death, too. Kind of like Anna Nicole Smith.
There's a lot of mystery in that time frame because we didn't have the internet to spread information immediately.
Right.
You had to go on the credit of people's word or
That's true.
publication.
That's true.
What
And
did I
that's why they
miss?
find conspiracies later.
We're talking about threesomes now because of
So,
Yeah, you let Becky run this shit.
well, chat room, let me know. Have you ever heard of that rumor that Marilyn Monroe and the Kennedy boys?
So they
Yo,
have
Kennedy boys.
they have a boat here in Palm Beach. I believe it's usually kept at Rivovich over there in Northwood, just north of downtown. And it's called the Honey Fits, and it's a 2 or 3 deck boat, classic, whatever. It has the presidential seal on the smokestack on the top. It used to be JFK's boat,
Oh, geez.
and supposedly because he was obviously married, and he was president. He had to have places where he had his rendezvous. So apparently the Honey Fits, the boat that's now historically protected and whatever, was one of the places that him and Marilyn Monroe used to have their affair.
Jeez, man.
Crazy.
That's crazy. All right, let me throw this one at you, and then we'll see what happens. You guys ever see the movie Candyman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Say it 3 times, Denny's.
It's scary. I know. I won't. Well, in the movie The Candyman,
Oh, I'm too.
Tony Todd, he actually negotiated in his contract. I always think this is funny that he gets paid $1,000 each time he was stung because he didn't want to do the scenes with the bees. He ended up walking away with $23,000, meaning he got stung 23 times during the production.
Oh my God.
I guess he wasn't allergic, huh?
No, but he got paid for it.
That's one of those weird things. I definitely do not believe in the Candyman and saying it 3 times, whatever. But the way my personality is, when I say, like, I don't like to poke the bear, even though I might be a skeptic,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm saying Candyman 3 times.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, well,
that's
because you just want to even provoke it. Right?
exactly.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Candyman,
Jeez,
Candyman, Candyman. Demons. Vicky, I'm just kidding.
Lawless.
Just kidding. I don't know, y'all.
Well, it doesn't count. You weren't looking in the mirror, so you're good.
We should do a video. Let's all go in the bathroom together, and we'll look in the mirror together and go, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, or Candyman, or we can do.
Only if you have some tomato juice and vodka, man.
Would this work if we all got in the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and go, Randy Man, Randy Man, Randy Man, and then my dad appears in the mirror. His name's Randy.
But doesn't Randy mean horny?
What if he's
So
Randy
horny, Becky.
and horny?
We're like all in the bathroom saying Randy.
So horny, Becky.
Randy, man.
All horned up.
All right, Denny, do you have any more, or do I have to look at my phone for my notes again? Someone already said, man, Bert really is dialed out tonight. He's looking at his phone the whole time. Motherfucker, I'm getting my notes because my computer broke. And I say that with love.
I do have a comment when we were talking about nature and getting in touch with nature.
Yes.
I actually was on an investigation this weekend, and I had a moment where I was picking up way too much too quickly. And I called someone, and they, gave their usual advice: go find a tree. And I'm not a huge believer in that. I went and I found, fortunately, there was a lot of really old trees, and I found the oldest one. It was right there in the front. I swear to you, as soon as I leaned back against that tree, all of that energy just dissipated.
Who said go find a tree?
My friend Rich.
Why did they say that?
Because it's typical. You're supposed to use trees to ground yourself, and I did it a couple times, and I didn't really need it because I wasn't like out of control at the time that I did it before. But this time, I can definitely say that there was a lot going on, and I was kind of out of control. And I literally went up against that tree, and it was almost like I feel it from the top of my head just go out through my feet.
So it's interesting that you're bringing up trees, because I have, since a kid, I've had a fascination with trees. I'm drawn to them. I don't know why. I would buy pictures of trees because they made me feel at peace, at ease.
They're grounding.
I think they're
A symbol of life.
well, exactly what Denny's is saying. A tree symbolizes patience.
Yes.
And I think that's the hardest virtue a human can get. Patience is so hard.
Yeah.
And you can't, a tree or planting something, you have to have patience. You can't plant something that grows right away. So I think there might be something there. but trees make me feel at ease if I'm in them. But from a distance, they freak me out. What's that
Right.
about?
I don't know. I think you
She's
too,
like, I
like
don't
when
know.
you're working, because we talked about you working on ability and stuff. I think we need to find like a really old tree to start when we start doing, things to try to get you to open up a little bit. I think we definitely need to experiment with the tree grounding.
Yeah, there's something about trees that are magical and special. We don't spend enough time for tree love. And
Right.
I'm not even being hippy dippy with save the trees. There's just something special
Yeah.
about trees and being out in that nature.
The giving tree, man. Remember? It's a sad tale.
Well,
Lest we forget.
trees are basically balancing out climate change in
He
our
has his
our-
red card. Sorry.
the world's forests are basically what balance our carbon emissions. Like, it's
That's
crazy.
why they say don't take down the rainforest, because then we'll start. We'll have to plant more trees.
Exactly, and how big of a deal it is. And it's literally the trees in the major forests of the world are the lungs of
Yes.
our world. Like, that's literally how important they are. And it's mind blowing that those little things, well, I guess they're not little all the time, but like those things are like one of the most vital things about our ecosystem.
I wonder how much, and I'm just throwing the question out there, but I wonder how much these fires that have been going on affect the entire atmosphere.
You're saying the
within.
actual smoke.
Yeah, because it could be psychosomatic too, but I've noticed my allergies have just been getting worse the last few years, and there has been like a lot of these big fires going on, and I wonder if the emissions is world spread at that point if it's burning especially gigantic fields.
Totally. Yeah, no, it's the the old saying in medicine is that the hip bone's connected to the leg bone, blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
yeah.
So totally, like that's the thing. If we could just say, hey, China pollutes and we don't care because it's the United States, we all
Yeah.
share the same space.
Yeah, you're right. It's
You
all
know?
the same real estate.
Yeah, and maybe it gets a little diluted by the time like that wind system comes over the United States. But it's crazy, the winds coming off Africa affect the soil in like the agricultural system. Like it helps like the actual like fertility and all of that are the winds and everything that come off Africa. Like that's how connected they are. So of course, if a certain country has certain things, it's going to affect everything else.
I've seen the rains out in Africa.
I mean, Denny he's kind of making me lead in my next segment. We were talking about Frank Sinatra earlier.
yes.
Do you guys like his music?
Love it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Sinatra song?
Did it my way.
Fly me to. Do you guys do the words?
My
of that?
Way, that's your
Way.
favorite. That's a good one.
My way.
Solid.
It's such like a guy's guy song. And
Do you know the words?
which one?
My way.
I did it my way. Yeah.
Give me a little bit of that. But you have to sing it though.
I've laughed.
Keep going.
I've laughed and cried
Oh, keep going.
and
back.
did it through without exemption. My friends, I'll say it clear. I don't know if I know all the
Keep
things.
going. Keep going.
What?
I've planned each charted course, every step along the highway. I feel like skimming somewhere.
Don't talk. Just
I-
fucking sing it, baby.
I did it my
My
way.
And
That's a good song.
That's a great
It's a powerful one.
Yeah.
I think that was his.
It's actually
exiting
been played
number.
at a couple of older friends and family at their funeral. You know, like one of those
Yes.
guys that just kind of like blazed his own trail kind of situation. And yeah,
I
it's a
love-
great song.
I love Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly Me to the Moon's great.
That's a solid
Fly
one.
me to the moon. Let me
Sail amongst
the
the stars. Do you know one of the reasons I know all of...
Beckett.
Sorry.
Oh God, a sing along. I'm waiting for Vicky to chime in.
You'll be waiting a long time.
You are not invited to my campfire party.
We need to do karaoke.
Yeah.
Becky, we've invited you 3,000 times.
I know
I
you
came, I
came.
didn't get
You came once.
Okay.
Chewy, baby, sweetheart.
Well, you got to catch up because I've been like 3
Yeah,
times.
Vicky comes all the time, repping.
Vicky will get up there and shake her shit. She'll sing and make it happen.
I love karaoke. Let's do it.
We're gonna calm Chewy down. So, did you guys see this story? I've gotten a lot of emails. I talked about on the KVJ show. They said, "Hey guys, did you see someone was putting bed bugs in the clothes at Walmart?
What?
Terrible.
Crazy stuff. This person
Criminal.
needs to be locked up."
100%.
Criminal.
Crazy.
They found a bottle of bed bugs in a jacket at Walmart. Someone's just trying to,
See the world burn.
burn the world, Beckett.
What a dick. Like, that's so messed up.
So I wanted to play a game with y'all. Again, you are the judge and jury.
Okay. Are we going to make sentences?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
are. Okay, that person right there, you're the judge. You find out we've got the bug bandit. Vicky, what do you give her a sentence?
I think they have to pay for damages for anybody who was actually infected with the bed bugs. Can I do anything? It doesn't have to be legal.
You're the judge, so you get a sentence to send them away to prison,
Okay.
or
Well, they have to pay restitution to any victims of the bed bugs. I'd say that's a 24-month offense.
24 months.
in the clink.
Yeah.
I like your stance, Beckett. Go.
I'm going with 2 weeks of having to change all the linens of all the beds at the VA hospital.
God, you're fucking soft, dog.
Come on, that's great.
Don't make them do that for 2 years.
2 years?
Hell, you are putting bed bugs, and people are bringing them into their home.
Yeah. But no one's dying. Like, it's messed up.
Yeah, but
It's
you know,
super
if
messed
you
up.
bring it into a home, like I have a friend who was infected, and she had to call in pest control like 3 times
You
and had to
can't get
throw
rid
out
of 'em.
mattresses and couches. I mean, it's like huge.
It's
if
tough.
you get
Money.
them.
I mean, you're wasting
Yep.
money.
All right, so restitution in terms of the damages and 2 weeks of the community service, the changing of the linens, and then I would say maybe 2 weeks in jail.
Denny's.
I'm not a big jail guy for that. I mean,
You and Kevin on the show. Man. You guys are so about.
I think sometimes people go to jail and they come out worse, and it's just like a way bigger problem. I think
And
that
sometimes people come out of jail too soon and they do terrible things.
I agree with that. You know,
I give him 1 year in jail, and I give him
a year for that.
I give him 2 years of house arrest.
Dude,
Like
get
a
out.
year for that is a lot, don't you think?
you do not want to know
Dude,
what
that's
Judge Whopper wants to throw down.
All right, what's your sentence?
3 years hardcore prison.
What?
Yeah, you gotta think about the shit you've done. You are wrecking lives, baby. You can't.
That's
you cannot
Walmart. It's
just-
gonna wreck that whole store.
You cannot bring bugs into a store deliberately to fuck someone's life up.
What if-
you're premeditative? Everything you're doing, you could have stopped it so many times. You got to think about that shit.
What if somebody put bed bugs
That's a
in,
good
in
point.
your dinner for the last 3 years?
No,
Like,
I'd murder 'em.
you've been eating them.
You murder them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'd be so grossed out. They're full of
terrible.
blood,
Yeah, it's terrible.
skin cells.
Okay, maybe 3 years is harsh. 2 years prison.
1 year.
And if you are a model citizen in prison, maybe you get out in 18 months. But shit, son.
I am in the mindset that they should have to actually have bed bugs in their own bed. kind of
Okay,
thing.
now,
All right.
now,
I like that.
Now we're getting into a different realm
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
It's the judge being creative with the sentence.
Yes.
We should make cell-specific punishments. So
Totally.
their cell is just bed bugs.
I like it.
My man nailed it right there. You are so right. Okay, so for example, you torture somebody. Guess what? You now have a jail full of torture.
Right.
Yeah, you get
And
tortured.
I don't like that. I'm not a person that gets off on violence. I hate violence. In fact, when in high school, I saw a fight happen, and I almost threw up because I saw a kid get punched. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so
You
soft.
soft.
Yeah, I'm so soft. I can't deal with it. But you do have to put people away when they do something fucked up. I don't know where this whole new movement is where someone screws up so bad, and then we're feeling bad more for people who fucked up and have hurt innocent people than people who go on Twitter and say something stupid. People on Twitter who say something dumb, they're excommunicated. Somebody who's put away for jail for 15 years because they got high and killed somebody and then was violent to their wife. We're gonna forgive them now and feel sorry for them.
Totally.
It's just weird to me.
I 100% agree. I think that the one thing that's lacking is that we think a lot about the punishment and not what comes on the back end. It's one thing if someone did something and they have to go away for the rest of their life, then you don't have to worry about it. But apparently the pen was called the penitentiary because of William Penn, which is Pennsylvania, right? Because there's a lot of trees, Pennsylvania. And
It all ties together.
the whole point of the penitentiary, William Penn being Amish or whatever the religion he was to rehabilitate people. So maybe the punishment stays the same in terms of what you believe is a harsh punishment. But when that person comes out after 15 years, I don't think what's thought of enough is what happens then. you know, and you
Wow.
you need to fix someone for it, and whether that's putting bed bugs in their bed for the first year or whatever, you have to think about how they come out, because a lot of times we cause more problems because they come out and they're worse.
Damn, Beckett dropping
I
pen
mean,
facts.
I thought that Getty's did random facts, but I think Beckett stole the show.
What is this horseshit, Beckett?
Are you trying to take Getty's action?
Yeah,
Stay in your lane, man.
the penitentiary.
I don't want people to think that I want to lock everybody up for stuff, but I'm sorry. If you get into a society where people do fucked up things and we don't punish them, I'm telling y'all, I just on the small sample size of a baseball camp. I was at a baseball camp that didn't discipline. I was at a baseball camp that did discipline. They were way different schools, and one's out of business and one's not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I agree. There needs to be a big enough deterrent. That I think is one of the few good arguments for capital punishment, because whether you believe it or not, it's a good deterrent. You know what I mean?
And I think people can fuck up and be so sad, and we forgive them. I'm all about that. But it just this new thing where someone does a violent crime and now they're the victim. No, that's bullshit. That's one of those BuzzFeed bullshit things that I can't get a part of.
Totally.
Yes.
Well, look at early punishment, eye for an eye. I mean,
Yeah.
your punishment fit
Chewy,
the crime.
baby. Chew. We're live, bud.
He's like my stepbrother, Randy.
He's, you know what? So to give y'all a backstory on Chewy, Chewy is going on 14. He is starting to decline, and I have to kind of accept the fact that he is declining in his health. Everything's changing about him. I've talked to the vets. They've all given me his breed at 13, they usually go blind. They start to go deaf, and he's just losing a step. And I apologize for the interruption. He gets freaked out easily now, where he didn't.
Right.
He's losing a step, man. Almost like seeing your loved one decline. It's very sad for me.
Yeah,
I'm struggling with it
He's very talkative, for sure.
more than we've ever. This is never
never
yeah,
done
yeah,
anything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a chew.
Chewy.
What's up, Chewy?
Yeah.
It is weird, and I'm again not trying to start a gender war. He has a tough time sometimes with women.
Really? Well, they say dogs are like their owners.
Oh, damn, Beckett.
Hold on. Someone's gonna take the reign right now. I have to take care of Chew. Someone take the reign. Come on, baby. Come on, Chew. Come on, bud. Come on.
It's true, though. How many times do you see dogs? Like, I know that's like a cliche, like funny joke, but how many times do you see that animals are almost very, very, very similar to their owners?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Even I think owners will even adopt qualities of their animals too.
Well, you know how you're big on energy and vibes, and I vibe with you on that?
Yes,
like,
yes.
So do you think that part is the animals in your space, like kind of like latching on to your vibe?
Absolutely. I mean, all animals that I've experienced with have personalities towards every person differently.
Right.
So, I mean, sometimes, yeah, me and Chewy get like weird.
Well, I've done some research
I don't
on
know
his
if it's-
on his breed. It's in their DNA. They will
Protect their master.
They will protect their master. They will nip at things that are smaller around them because they're used to.
He's a shepherd.
herding.
They're used to herding. It's just in their DNA, and that's crazy to me too. That you could have something in your DNA, but you were born into that.
Totally.
Kind of how we started hunching over, and then we started growing and
Totally.
to grab.
And this gets into like sensitive territory, but like what Dave Chappelle would say, I believe, is that, we think of like horses bred for certain things. We think of animals, like certain dogs bred for certain things. And it's okay to think that males are good at something and girls are good at something. And then certain cultures, like for example, Asians just, they're better at math for whatever reason. Like there's certain things.
boy.
I know there's certain I know there's certain things I think that people have a propensity to that are, whatever. Then I think that, you got to stay politically correct. But, I think that Jamaica has the best track team in the world. And that's been consistent to multiple Olympics. And it's,
Yeah.
you can have traits in your DNA that make you have certain characteristics.
Vicky, do you think it's offensive to say a certain culture or a certain race is great at something? Because
Yeah,
there's
because you're almost
no, I-
complimenting it.
it
Yeah.
is a compliment, but then you are separating.
You're
And some
still-
people have a tough time separating stuff, and that's where the Twitter world gets involved.
But if you have data behind it, if you have data to prove it,
Yeah.
that overall this is what you see, and I mean, there's a reason why some stereotypes exist. There was some element of truth at some point for some of them that made them believable and then made them grow.
Because I guarantee I'll get one comment from somebody that says what Beckett said was offensive, but what you had said was something very positive. Like you're totally saying you're amazing at math.
Right.
That's awesome. And it's,
Andrew
it's
Yang,
really,
the presidential candidate, says that. He actually, his slogan is math. You
So
know?
I guess my question to the audience would be: if you are saying something like what Beckett just did, is that offensive? And if it is, why would it be offensive?
Totally. Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I really am, and I mean that's what this podcast is about.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we're not ever trying to upset anybody.
Yeah, it's not said to be mean or
Never.
anything.
But I'm interested in hearing, what the audience has to think about that. It's weird to be in the broadcasting world right now because when I first got into it, it was almost like, and when I say anything goes, you can't be mean, but you could make certain jokes. Like, for example, if I said, "Oh, women are crazy," 5 years ago, I could have gotten away with that. But now, if I say, "Oh, women are crazy," I don't really mean that. I'm making a joke for the story that I'm supporting. Clearly, I was raised by women. I don't think all women are crazy. You fucking moron.
Yeah, you have to entertain people
But
every day.
with that said, though, some people just want to hear what they want to hear. I think all people are crazy, but sometimes people say things in jest to make people laugh. That's not riddled and hurt.
or how they really feel.
Exactly. And there's shit I say all the time to Virginia that I don't really feel that way towards her because it's a joke. Right. So that's the interesting. You see Dave Chappelle, you see Bill Burr, kind of now challenging the line
The
of
people,
saying,
yeah.
fuck you, you politically correct motherfuckers. I'm going for it.
Yeah, so they're going into spaces to intentionally get offended, and then they're
Yes.
calling them out for it. But it's like, if you're paying to go to a Bill Burr show, you should have some semblance of what he's going to talk about.
Well, just because someone's offended, does that mean they're right?
No.
No,
Oh, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like someone will call Denny's up, poor sweet Denny's. He has to take all the phone calls. Virginia says some crazy shit about men.
they love to call in about it.
He's got to pick that up.
Sometimes they just want to talk to her.
Who call, men?
Oh, jeez.
sometimes
Virginia
women-
has a knack for pissing off a certain demographic of male.
Well, so we'll do a situation where a guy will be doing something shady. Oh yeah, fucking burn him. He's the worst. But it's the same situation reversed, and it's a girl. Oh well, she's fine.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And she owns it. And it's just.
That's what people do on the
they
keyboard.
just
They're
get
just like,
so mad about it.
it's so funny.
They get really mad about it.
Oh, my
And honestly, she's just
She's again trying to make people laugh and
she's
trying
a-
to be divisive.
Totally.
out of any woman I know, Virginia is probably so more cool with dudes than. It's weird the brush she gets painted with. People think Virginia hates guys, and I would say she gets along with guys more than women.
Yeah.
It's not even close actually.
Yeah, she seems like a guy's girl. Like she's kind of girly. She kicks you. Yeah.
Dude, she's an entertainer. She's
100%.
trying to get people fired
Exactly,
up, and they
that's
take the bait.
They
It's,
do.
it's hilarious.
That's amazing.
Dear Weird and Whatever email. Since you guys talk about weird stuff all the time, I was wondering what is the weirdest thing? Did we do this last week?
I don't think so.
What is the weirdest thing that is about y'all's personality? For example, Vicky, what's the weirdest thing about you? Beckett, what do you do that's weird that you're afraid to tell people about? Denny's, we know you're peaceful, but we know you do some weird shit. Bird, we know you're weird. Love to hear from y'all. Jen. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. It says, there's a PS here. I'm so sorry. Jen, if you're listening, it says, PS, too bad Denny's is married. I'd love to bang him. Sorry, Jen.
Ah.
Linda.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get mad, Jen.
All wifed up.
All right, y'all. What's your answer?
I have full on conversations with myself, like full on arguments, and go over things. Like I will literally be talking to myself and realize, oh, people can see me.
So that's why we're friends. That's one of the Vicky, I do it all the time. I got busted walking Chewy 2 days ago. I'm going through. So I have this whole thing I have to talk to somebody about at work. And they were texting me. And as I'm walking, I get the text, so I'm emotionally charged with it, and I start going through the whole blah blah blah, and I'm texting. I look over, my neighbors are watching me. I'm fucking crazy.
I'll be walking through the hallway and I'm having some kind of argument about something, and if somebody sees me, I pretend like I'm singing instead. I break into song.
I fake text.
Yeah.
Beckett, what's the weirdest shit about you? Chewy. It's okay, baby. Chew. It's okay, bud.
I'm trying to think. Even though I've done those 2 national TV shows, I hate seeing myself on camera. Like, it's an insecurity of mine, and like, I'd have like some of my buddies were like, "Oh, let's go and like watch it together, like the episode when it airs." I'm like,
you hate the way you just hate.
I hate to watch myself on camera. Like, I get real insecure about it, and I'm a pretty confident guy. If you asked me to talk in front of a stage full of people, I'd grab the microphone and walk out there. I would just hate to watch it back, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I hate listening back or watching back anything.
When I first got on the radio, I loved hearing me back. Oh, this is so fun. Sometimes I have to edit shit where I'm involved in. I'm like, oh God. And I always will edit me out. I'm so harsh on my edit.
Yeah.
I will edit out if I have to edit. Am I right? If I have to edit, like, we'll pre-call shit at the end of the day, and if I have to edit those calls, I mean, Edward Scissorhands the shit out of them. But it's only me that I'm,
Right. No,
I'm a little more fair.
Oh, if Denny's in it, he lets everything I say. I'm like, fuck.
Totally.
I'm like, Bird, you're so funny.
Denny's.
So I like to pop pimples and then like squish it in my hand for a while, and then I wash my hands.
Yeah,
afterwards.
I think people. Yeah.
I don't know why I like doing that.
A lot of people don't want to admit it, but I think a lot of people feel that way.
Sometimes
I enjoy popping pimples. It's weird.
Sometimes if I'm really stressed out, I will lay in my bed and I'll just go like this. And I feel a little bit better. And a lot of times I'm naked, Beckett.
Is that why you're laughing?
Damn.
Sorry, Beckett. We all ain't got big dicks like you.
Beckett's razzing and dazzing.
Hey, everybody. Big dick Beckett. Chewy, baby.
Thank you for the intro.
Denny's, take it. I got to lay with Chewy real quick. Hold on. How long have we been going for?
Well, actually, 1 hour.
All right.
That's good. Well, you know, based on what he's saying, there's actually a lot of there's research in terms of like how you pose. Like before you go on stage, they call it Superman pose.
All right.
And if you like put your chest up, stand up straight, there's actually a psychological change in terms of your confidence, right? So by forcing yourself to smile and laugh, like there's research that I've read that's saying like it actually moves the needle, maybe a little bit, not a lot of it, but it moves the needle in terms of like your mental happiness and wellness, if that makes sense.
Rehearsing in front of the mirror too, if you have a speech, that always helps. I know it sounds lame, but it totally works.
I'm telling y'all, I struggle with such anxiety issues and such mental issues. Positive affirmations and writing that shit down and looking in the mirror. I'm telling you, it's silly. It helps.
Yeah,
it does. It helps.
It does.
You have to.
If it helps, it's not silly.
Well, the thing
call.
is, you have to stop feeling like you're silly because you're not. You're not. Dude,
Who cares?
We are all a mess. We are all struggling. Everyone at the highest level, they're struggling.
Everyone's a beautiful disaster.
Everybody is fucking struggling because we are a weird species.
100%.
Any way you cut it. The person you think is the hottest, they are shitting their pants at some point in their life.
Yeah.
The hottest girl, Beckett, that you've been with, has shit her pants.
Such a common
Vicky,
analogy.
the hottest guy you've been with, I don't know, he's
pissing himself.
He's eating a booger.
He's popping pimples and playing with it.
All right, y'all, I got to tend to my dog. We got to wrap this thing up. My man is just like, I think he did some cocaine tonight. We love you all, and
Bigfoot is real.
What's that sound? It's aliens, and they're living in your town. They have arrived. They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared of aliens? Well, you should.